Hi guys, Dion here with YGA Pro, and today I'm going to be talking to you about one of my favourite guitarists, Mr. George Benson, who's both famous for his obviously amazing jazz chops, as well as his really successful pop career, more so in the 80s, but he kind of has that really cool style where he brought in that real jazzy vocabulary that he has, and brought it into that kind of pop music, which was, you know, his real signature for his kind of sound. Now in today's lesson we're going to kick off with the pop solo. So without further ado, here is lick number 1. Okay, that was roughly almost up to tempo. It's at around about 110 beats per minute, this particular piece. But what I'm going to talk about first is how vital it is to play this slowly initially, because this is all about the groove. Okay, so it's a 16th note groove that we've got going on here. So if I just stick on the drum machine at 60 beats per minute, and we're going to count out how to get this 16th note groove going with our right hand at this particular tempo. So drum machine on at 60. So to count the 16th notes out at this tempo, we do it like this. We go 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Okay, so this comes in on very specific, you know, subdivision of the 16th note. And what I mean by subdivision, it comes in right on the middle of tiny one of those little ones. It's not on the number, okay, it's not on a 1 or a 2, it's on the E. Okay, so the first one comes in on the 2E. Okay, so we go 1 E and a 2 E. Okay, so as you can see, that falls on the 2 E, right, and that's on an upstroke. Okay, the next one after that falls on the 1 E and a 2 E and a 3. Okay, so that one's on the 3. So we've got the 2 E followed by the 3. Then after that we have 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and A. Okay, so that's on the 3 E and A. Okay, and the thing to note here is how staccato the first and the last one are. And by staccato, I mean you really want to cut those off after you've hit them, whereas the middle one is a lot more what's called legato, where it rings out a little bit for a little bit longer than the other two. So once more, we've got 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and A. Okay, so now on to the second part. So the second part is, in fact, let me just turn that off for 1 second. The second part is actually the exact same lick. Okay, what it does, it just falls on a different subdivision to the first one. So if I play through the first one again, and then I'm going to follow straight on with that second part. So we have E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a. So as you heard there, the second part comes in on the 1 E and a 2 E and a. So we've now moved from the 3 E and a. We're now starting on the 1 E and a, 2 E and a. Okay, so it goes once more, 2 and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a, like that. Okay, there we go. And it's really important, as I mentioned, to start at a nice slow tempo with this and then gradually build it up. So now I'm just going to play that whole kind of little section there just as one with the drum beat a few times, just so you can get it in your head a little bit and you can start to feel where the note should fall. Okay, so firstly I'm going to do it at 60 as I mentioned, then I'm going to move up to probably about 80. So we have 1. Okay, so once more, 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 and a. Okay, and now I'm going to boost this drum machine just very slightly up to about 80. So here we go. So we got 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 and a 1 E and a 2 and a. Okay, so there we go. Once more at 80. And just as one tiny little last note on that section is that you really have to keep your hand moving like that, much like when you're strumming, okay? Because it really helps you to feel the groove, okay? So that's very important for those syncopated 16th notes. Okay, so on to the second half of lick number 1, which is a cool little kind of pentatonic Dorian-y little phrase that makes use of both double stops and hammer-ons and pull-offs, okay? So it's based around our Dorian scale, which is particularly that nice 13th note there. So we start the lick, I bar my first finger over the 10th fret of both the B and the E strings, okay? Then I bring my third finger up to the 12th fret of the B, and I have to pick downwards both strings at the same time. So it's like this. Okay, so I'm hitting both that 12th fret and the 10th fret of the E. And what happens there, from there, I do a really, really quick hammer onto the 13th fret with my 4th finger. Okay, so it's like nice little flourish like that. And then after that, we pick again and pull off. So it goes like that. And as you can see, that's a really, really quick pull off there. It's just almost not even touching that note at the start. You just really go like that very, very quickly. And then you just pull off again from the 3rd finger to the 1st finger. So we go, ooh, like that. Okay, so as you can see, that was all down picking there so far. Okay, so we got down, down, pull off, and then we simply just do an up and a down, just working our way onto that 12th fret of the G, and then the 10th fret of the G as well. That's just, again, falling into that kind of pentatonic shape. So once more, I'm going to do it to the drum beat so you can hear how that lick comes together. So we go 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so last time. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and there we go. That's the second half of lick number 1.